Welcome to the Late Night Podcast. Today, with the man, the myth, the legend. Let me just close this curtain right here so we really have this sort of studio atmosphere. Scotty.
Thank you so much, Malte, for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
This is kind of last minute, but I love
You're
how
welcome.
We're here right now.
I love the look. Scotty is like, I don't know how you do it. I've known you for a little bit. You always are so relaxed and like have it sort of so zen.
Thank you.
I've never seen you in like a sort of just angry or it's wild. You really yeah, it's absolutely like you're such. It's really an inspiration.
Only good vibes.
Only good vibes. I mean, the weather in Laguna Beach
keeps the vibes good.
Keeps the vibes good.
So, what are you drinking tonight?
Tonight, we made an old fashioned. I was debating.
And then I've got a hot green tea with the Chinese tea leaves.
I was debating between the whiskey sour, but I opted for this. We just got to make sure we kind of like have to really be on the mic. Sort of like this.
Yeah.
Chat might let us know here in a second.
Okay.
how the sound quality is.
Here we go.
But yeah, you're a man of many talents. Give us a quick overview.
An overview. Yeah. Let's see. So full-time. Right now, doing full-time photography, and then mostly campaigns for brands. A lot of 35mm work, a lot of digital work. Mostly lifestyle work based out of Laguna. I try to make people drive to me because I like to stay there, you know?
Yeah.
And then on the side, I run an event and production company, and we do everything from fundraisers to nightlife parties, clubs and promoting. We run art shows and special events. We host and curate, just anything you might need in that space. But it's been fun because the two worlds have intersected so many times, and I get to like shoot for DJs, and then I get to plan events for artists and show off my art. The art show we did recently, I was able to show off some of my photography prints. So they're always like bouncing back and forth, which is super fun. But yeah, I've been doing that now, and I've been shooting for about 12 years. But the event thing started only about a year and a half ago with my brother, and that just kind of came out of nowhere. This big space in Laguna, and they asked us to like throw in events, and then it's been about a year now, and we expanded to LA and San Diego. So. But yeah, that's the overview of what's going on right now.
Club Sueños.
Yeah, Club Sueños.
Sueños. Yeah, my Spanish is very bad. I've been there. Yeah, it's a great time. Let's just dive quickly into like just your photography because I've worked with like throughout my life with like lots of very talented photographers, but you have this very unique at least from what I've seen when you took pictures out here in the studio, you have this very unique approach with like lighting and like aperture, and a lot of times when I do it, it looks random, right? So you play with that. When I do it's like completely doesn't work, but you seem to have some kind of like
I would say it's in my blood,
controlled chaos with it.
My mom is a commercial fashion photographer. I've never mentioned that, but it started so early on, and like growing up around the house with like 20 cameras and just like campaigns going on all the time, and her shooting all sorts of stuff, shooting us, and then she would hand me the camera every once in a while and be like, hey, do this and then. So by the time I was like very, very early on, I was learning all those settings, and then just became second nature, just like anything does. Like these great DJs or producers, or what you do in the studio is like on the same level. You're just like moving things, and it's happening so quick, and it's like there's a little bit of randomness to it, but there's also like what you're doing, and it almost subconsciously.
No, so. It is when I look at those, it's like.
Yeah, it's
and even the portraits, like you guys got to check out your Instagram. Like it's really nice. The stuff that you are shooting in the coves and stuff. You have like, it's not really like, I mean, I'm an amateur, but it's like not really black and white. But sometimes you have this like orange tint on. I saw something today where it was like, whoa, like how do you like? It's like so specific.
Yeah.
And it's very like interesting because a lot of like portrait photographers wouldn't like, they will just do like the standard that works, you know?
Exactly. Well, I mean, I get this split between like my commercial work where like I'll send out just basic digitals, whatever, we're working with brands. And then I love to shoot personal portfolio work where I really get to experiment and, freaking make someone's face look orange, or make it a black and white, or push them out and bring the depth of field in, and like make them hike out to some crazy rock and shoot some crazy film photo. And I never want to lose that aspect of my artistic expression because that's what keeps me alive. That's what keeps me going.
Because like what I've like when you took like a few of me in the studio, and like I'm normally
that was fun.
Those were not portraits, but I really like we gotta do like a session because I'm very like bad with looking at the camera, and for some reason I never come across like as who I am. But I think like you have this thing, we could even do like a washed out picture of me, but it will still come through. Like you really have a way of like actually capturing like the personality, kind of with like.
I think it's because like it. Maybe 80% of a good photo is the interaction between the muse and the capture.
Yeah.
And if you get along with the artist or with who you're working with, like a lot of times you get awkward photos because the photographer doesn't know how to communicate with the model, or they make them feel uncomfortable, or something's not flowing. As soon as you break them through that space and you get comfortable with them, and then it's like everything flows, and then you just find their true essence, their heart comes out. And that's when you get the good photos.
Kind of reminds me of the great Anne Leibovitz.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, I mean, unbelievable. The stuff that she does. She has also like a very like unique style, but she's very clean.
She is.
She's very calculated. Very
classic.
Very she.
Right on the money.
It's, and the people that have shot with her always told me like, yeah, she just does one or two. Like it's within the first. Like she just gets it.
I think I'm on the other end of the spectrum. Like I let a little bit of dirt in there. My favorite lens is the one that's scratched up. You know, and I love when I get weird colors. When I get the film back from the lab and it's like got streaks of light. Like I love the imperfections. You know, and I think that's like it brings out character. You know, almost like when you're working with someone, you don't want to see just like a perfect side of them. You want to see like a whole spectrum. You know, so but yeah, she's incredible. She's really good. I don't know. I love photography. I definitely eventually want to do a gallery, you know, like a whole on like and I've done a couple books, but I haven't done anything worth really releasing a bunch of copies of and putting out. But I think I want to like shoot for maybe 20 years and then do something, maybe 15 years. You know, like I don't want to just like come on and say, oh, you know, I'm an incredible photographer. You know, because there's so many people out there like her who have been shooting their whole lives. You know, one of my great inspirations, I think his name's Hugo. He shoots for a bunch of big brands. He's in his 40s. My other inspiration, Henrik Purin, French guy. He's in his 40s, and they're crushing it. They've been shooting forever, but like they're releasing books and now, and because they have the skill and the experience in the catalog too. But yeah, I don't know. It's fun.
Photography. I mean, I have like just been getting into for the streaming and like different cameras and what they can
so fun.
What they can do. No, just learning about cameras. Like I just like kind of was like, because for me it was always a DSLR is a DSLR, but no, it's not. There's a lot.
So you got a Lumix in here, and then you had something else in the studio.
I got the Nikon over there.
Yeah.
And then my girlfriend has a Black Magic that is like has some
can
do the 6K like.
Yeah.
And she's actually just mostly pulling stills out of the video because it can do that.
Because it's so high quality. Yeah. One of my good friends, Geronimo, shoots with a Black Magic Pocket cinema camera and shoots incredible stuff, like Netflix-worthy content. But yeah, that's so cool.
No, fun. That and stabilizers. I just got into like this.
The gimbals and all.
It's wild. Like you could shoot like a movie with. You can. It's pretty wild. Like once you figure out how to do, that.
I almost want to talk about some of the stuff we were talking about earlier. When we were walking back, we were talking a little bit about this brotherhood, this book I've been reading. Mind if I talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely.
Okay, so like I moved to Laguna 4 years ago. I'm not a native, and I got to meet everybody and kind of get used to the town. And on my journey to get to know the town and learn about its origins, I started reading books and history and literature. And Laguna, before it became a tourist town, was this hippie art colony that honestly was sketchy and scary and crazy, and it was the biggest drug dealing capital of the U.S. for years.
I didn't.
No, isn't that crazy?
That is crazy because you go to Laguna, it's so polished. It seems like
they have done
everyone's
so much work.
Well off and
they are now,
doing, you know.
But this was like, I'm reading this book, and it's like a homeless 17-year-old girl was arrested walking down the street next to my house back in 66. She was naked. She was like overdosing on acid, and there was like an orgy going on down the street in this like World Art Cultural Center that all these hippies from San Francisco had come down and like, you know, hang out in. And then there was like this one drug dealer's house that got shot up. It sounded like Skid Row, and I was like, this is Laguna in the 60s. Like, this is crazy, you know. But there's definitely this part of history that they glamorize about the hippie artist movement, and now they use that as like almost a tourist grab, you know. They're like, oh, come to Laguna, has this rich artistic history. But when you look at the whole picture, there was a lot of like crazy, not even good stuff that went down. But it was very interesting. There were a lot of incredible artists. The Grateful Dead were connected with this guy in San Francisco who was making acid at the time, and he was making like the best acid anywhere.
Yeah, I've been to some of the Grateful Dead shows. It's like in their like fest, like in their in the parking lots. There's all these vendors and stuff, and it's all about that. It's like you go through there and they sell like merch and stuff, but they're also like it's the I learned the term once. They call it Owsley, right?
Really?
That is that
might be the name of the guy who
or something. It's very famous, and I remember this is what's called Owsley. Maybe that was his last name or something, you know. But
I think it might have been because I'm reading the book, and the guy who was friends with them, that he would smuggle his acid down to Laguna, and then one guy from Laguna who was this crazy artist, he made the skull with the lightning strike, their logo. The Grateful Dead's logo that has the skull.
No way.
Yeah. He was a jewelry designer in Laguna, and the guy hit him up, and he was like, hey, I want you to make this logo for this band that's coming up, and it was the Grateful Dead, and now you see it everywhere. And then like they were working with like Hell's Angels and like all these different things, and then like the guy that made the Hubble telescope was connected to them, and Harvard professors, and like it was the weirdest thing, but they were like all different things in history and things that happened that were connected to this brotherhood, this group of acid dealers in Laguna. And they made like crazy art and like did all this stuff.
I didn't know that.
I know. Yeah, their main headquarters was this like meditation cultural arts center thing, and it was one street over from my house where I live now. And it was now it's a hotel or something, and I want to go back and like I don't know. I eventually see like some of that spirit, which is like the peace and love for everyone, the very inclusive like promotion of art that's getting lost now with the tourism. I want to bring some of that back. You know.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I'm trying to do with this podcast too. It's just like build community back into Los Angeles that we lost a little bit during COVID.
Yes.
Because everything got so sort of like spread out.
Yeah.
And I think Laguna, it is like, you know, last time I was in Laguna, like you go to the beach and it is sort of like a little bit more of a tourist thing, which is great. That's all good.
That's how they make their money.
But I think it's important to bring that back in that whole area.
Yes. I think it's easy for the local city officials to get caught up in just the dollar signs.
Yeah.
And to, you know, just like anybody, and lose out on like keeping that spirit alive. You know, because if they don't keep that spirit alive, then I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's so many artists that would like lose their homes, like lose their way of being. Like the next generation would just completely, you know, lose out on that. But that's what I'm trying to do, is bring that back. The art show we did a couple weeks ago was like a perfect example of that. It was like 20 artists from town showing off their work in this sunken garden rooftop. And like we had like an organic house DJ and like a live music band. And it was amazing. And it looked like the heart and soul of Laguna, you know? So like that's what I want to do more of. But yeah, this book has been really interesting. It's called I think it's called the Orange Sunshine. And it's the story about Timothy Leary, who was the Harvard professor, and John Griggs, the guy in Laguna, and how they started that whole thing. But yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. It's been quite a journey reading the book.
No, yeah, I'm seeing Laguna in a different light now. I love. So my thing with Laguna is I love coming to Laguna. Mm-hmm. The only quarrel I have with Laguna.
Yeah. I mean, I have a few, but yeah.
I only have one.
Okay, yeah.
And then there's no swell. I can't surf there.
Oh yeah.
It drives me crazy. I'm looking because I want to move down there. I want to move down to like either Hunt,
or San Clemente.
Yeah. So I'll have to be in Hunt because I can't do it. Like I have to be able to check the surf, and it has to be hunting for me. Yeah.
So Laguna,
you can longboard a little bit.
The only guys in Laguna that surf are these guys that ride shortboards, like fishes, basically.
Yeah,
and they've lived there their whole life. And every once in a while, one of them will just hit a rock because it's crazy. It's called rock pile for a reason.
Yeah, it's gnarly. Like I don't want to like.
It's so much easier to surf.
There's actually a guy I surf in Malibu quite a bit, and there's a guy called Andrew. Okay. He's a local there. He's like an older guy. He's amazing.
Yeah.
And
that's sick.
It's a rocky spot there too at Topanga, and he dislocated his knee on the rock. So that's why I'm like, I kind of like just took that as a sign, and I was like, because like I like, you know, got really. Dangerous. You know, I've surfed my whole life, but then since I moved down here, I was like, kind of found myself in some big swells too, like swells that were too big for me. Where it's like, you know, I broke my rib, and I was like, last year I broke my rib. I was like, like I was out there while I had the WSL, and I was in big surf, and I can handle myself in big surf, but it's like, I was just like, no, it's not worth it. Like, I love the sport and I love everything, but at the same time, it's not worth it.
You can go out on a nice little swell and you can have fun and you don't have to break anything.
But if you're in that community with the bros and like the chargers, like
they will push you to the next level.
They will like
egg you on.
Yeah, they egg you on. And I'm not like, I live in the valley right now, so I can't like compete with my pro surfer buddies down there.
I have buddies that surf Topanga State Beach though, and they like that. They like that beach. It's fun. And First Point in Malibu, I've heard that.
I mean, Topanga, Malibu, like it's super safe. Like there's not like
nothing crazy. Yeah.
Nothing crazy, but like like down the coast, it's like
it's nuts.
Huntington on a crazy day.
Yeah.
On a 10, I've seen them on like 10-foot days. I've been out there.
Yeah.
It's not the wave is the issue. The thing with Huntington and the piers is the concrete pillars. That
I saw a video of some guy getting washed up into him
because somebody just died there recently, which is really like local, like a great surfer. The thing is like
just
if you're in big surf and the water is deep, it's sure you could lose your leash, you could lose your board, but you can swim. The issue is always reefs and hard objects, concrete, like because like it is a problem because like in Huntington, south and north, you're gonna take a left or a right and you're gonna drive towards the pier. And if you can't kick out in time or if it's big and you like it's not fun. Anyways
I want to change gears actually, if that's okay.
Let's change gears
from dead surfers to house music. You were playing me a few tracks in there, and I was like throwing out names, and I was like, this sounds like, you were like, this is Avicii, this is Jack U, this is OMI Cheerleader Remix, this is like 2010 to like what
14
was yeah exactly that period of time. And then some of those tracks were like trancey and more festively, like main stage energy, when the drop hit, it like washed out those big chords, and I was like, I want to see the pillars in the air. Like tell me what's behind that, so you've been working on those and like, just, like, having fun with it,
I mean, I've been producing now for such a long time that I find myself being a lot quicker in like diving into like different segments or genres of EDM, which is a little bit like an issue because I'm right now I'm trying to find like a cohesive sound that I want to do that is sort of like where I'm really happy with, because you can't. I mean, people have been like, if you go on my Spotify, there's a trap song, there's a acoustic thing, and it's like it's a little bit over the place. And I produced for such a long time, and now I'm trying to figure out as an artist, like where do I want to go?
Exactly.
When I was like 17, 18, 19, all I could do was being a singer-songwriter.
So it's easy. You're like, this is it.
But being a singer-songwriter in Germany was like kind of hopeless because there was no way.
You had to be on a show, basically.
Yeah,
right?
you would have like so now I'm kind of just taking like a second crack at it because I just realized my true calling is really being an artist. I love producing, and if something comes along and an artist that I'm really intrigued with, like in the artists that I work with, like I'm really excited about. We've done like quite a bit of ghost production too and stuff like that, which is great.
Yeah.
But I feel like the problem with ghost production is that you give your sound away to somebody else.
Yeah.
And that can be a little tricky.
I feel you. You want something with your name on it that's your sound that you kind of have developed yourself, and maybe it's like a hybrid of a couple of these things. But like how recently did you start DJing as well? Like within the last year or two, or?
I like really like where we're doing like shows and stuff. I want to say like doing the first thing was COVID.
That's
20
true,
like COVID, like I remember during COVID in 2020.
Yeah.
I think it started on the 4th of July. They were like, "Oh, you can't sing. You got to wear like a mask on stage." And I was like, okay, sure, maybe I'll do the DJ thing. And that's when I first started really like spinning.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, you can produce a lot of EDM, but DJing is like a whole different thing, and it's actually like you kind of want to tailor to the crowd. Like for example, when we were down in Laguna, we did this. I did this like disco set, which I'm like, I would also love to produce disco.
Yeah.
But then you're in this a whole different like spectrum. But like as a DJ, you can also wear so many hats, and like one day you at the beach, I'm gonna play my disco. Like I wouldn't play like hard tech house, like we gotta bring the vocals. So and
it's kind of because I feel the same way with you. My music taste is all over the board and all over the map, and I'm starting to learn how to DJ now, and I'm loving it because like I will go into a house party and play something different in the club, and then I have my first festival coming up this weekend, and I'm like, what am I playing? Am I playing like Benny and the Jets? Am I playing Jai Paul? Am I playing Mild Minds? He's this cool guy. I actually saw Mild Minds live at Outside Lands recently.
Yeah.
And he was crushing it, but it was like chill house. It's like very, everyone was just kind of grooving and tripping and hanging out, you know? And it's like, where's the energy going to be for this weekend? I don't know. I got to figure it out.
But you were like, in a sense, like coming from like, really you were like the triple threat because you have the photography ability, then now you've done the promotion first, so you actually just like seen a lot of DJs fail and succeed in what they played,
100%.
And how they interacted, and now you get in a DJ in a true sense isn't. Back in the day, sure, you had musical ability, but was somebody that wanted to throw a party and wanted to play music for people that he's excited about. So you really like I'm more like a producer that also DJs, but if you're getting into this, like you were going to be the triple threat because you really are
think I've understood the levels. I mean, I've worked with like 200-300 DJs now booking our events.
Yeah.
And we have a list through our production company of like all these DJs. We've seen them all play. We have their like recorded sets, like saved. And it's been interesting to see, okay, like this is what they sound like, this is what they do on stage, like yada yada. And we're giving them like 45-minute sets with our events, which is different. Usually DJs will get an hour plus. Yeah. Sometimes we'll cut it even down to 30. And we're like, how do you build in 30 minutes? What songs do you play? That's only like 6 songs. I don't know, 5, maybe like 7 songs. And it's like, what songs you have to be very careful with what you're choosing, the way you're like building the audience with a short set like that. So it's been cool to see all these DJs like show off their very best that they can bring to the table in a short amount of time. And I don't know, I'm trying to think of some things I've definitely learned. Like, it depends on where you're playing in the night, if you're opening up the night versus like closing the night. It depends on who your audience is. The best DJs I've seen will, like, if they're like playing and let's say like it's a group of young people and they walk out and a group of moms walk in, they like totally shift the vibe, but they effortlessly mix from like their minimal tech house to their disco. They'll be going from freaking Fred again to like ABBA within like one song, and somehow they're just able to seamlessly blend it.
Yeah, song selection is like the biggest key. Like, there's a lot of DJs that have a lot of technical ability.
Yes.
But they don't connect with an audience. Similar, if you like musicians, jazz musicians that have crazy technical ability, but the audience can't connect. Because it's really about song selection and serving the audience, and there's like
being a personality.
That's a fine balance, because obviously you don't want to, we talked about requests earlier, you don't want to kind of like just please and then lose your sort of like identity as a DJ, you know?
I think there's this, touching back on these songs that you showed me earlier, like there's a space for this like 2010 to 2014 coming back in. It's been about a decade. Like, I feel like it's going to come back in a nostalgic way. People are going to be like, oh man, that sounds like something. Like, those tracks in there were like reminding me of stuff I listened to when I was like in high school. And I was like, I felt nice. It kind of tickled my brain a little bit because it was like nostalgic, And
it had song, like, if you think about it, like, like even the mainstream DJs with Zed, with like Clarity, they were song forms and they were actual songs. So like, even like from like an American standpoint, like Avicii, for example, wasn't like, people in Europe were like, oh, Wake Me Up is a country song. No, it's not a country song. And it's also doesn't have a storyline that is developing or anything. Yeah. But it had that appeal. And it was a song form. It wasn't
had structure.
It wasn't a, like, do it to it sort of just tech. Like, Tech House really took over, and Tech House brought these, like, just, like, small 4-bar, like, vocal loops that just repeat throughout the song.
Exactly, yeah.
But they're not really have a structure or like, a storyline. And I think... I mean, even Calvin Harris, in a way, like, when he had his stride, like, those were, like, song forms, you know, with a verse, a pre-chorus, a chorus, and nowadays...
you feel, I think, comfortable and at home. What's interesting, though, is when I also started this club, was I studied the origins of house music, then the origins of, like, mixing, and the origins of, like, acid house in particular. And I took it back to, like, that's where those little 4-bar loops come from. And they were these DJs in Chicago at this place called The Warehouse. They would take these, like, little mixing machines, these, like, and then have the records next to them be mixing both into each other, playing sounds on top of each other. And they came with that little, like, acid house sound, which is honestly, like, I love acid house and I'm a huge fan. I wish people would play it more. But it was so interesting to, like, study that, watch old documentaries on YouTube that I was, like, digging up with friends. And, like, and looking back to, like, Ibiza, I think it was in the 80s. Excuse me, maybe the 70s, somewhere, no, maybe 80s, and they were, like, developing house music for the first time, and then somebody in London went to Ibiza and came back. I watched this documentary, brought it to London, and through this show that bussed people from around all of like Europe. Like buses brought in like 5,000 people, and the cops came and rolled it like right as it was starting. But it was like, he eventually ended up getting arrested for tax evasion or something.
No way.
But it was crazy just to see all those like early days, all that stuff unfold, and see people like maybe this music that we're playing doesn't need a song for them. It was kind of an act of rebellion, you know. But I feel like also there's like this balance too of like this nostalgia where like I want to hear a song with a chorus, you know. I want to like be dancing to something that's a little bit more melodic, you know, like. Instead of just like a minimal structure.
That is like you named it, like the act of rebellion. Like when I grew up in the 90s and I grew up to like grunge and Nirvana and stuff, and it's like now that's what I'm in the current music scene. That's what I'm missing. I can't do it. It's all corporate.
No, I know.
It's just corporate
even
stuff.
Like
and
MGK, you know, I feel like I don't know. What's your thoughts on MGK?
No, I love MGK. Okay. Like I mean, they're what means love, but I appreciate what they're doing. It's a great quality like production and like Travis Barker playing on it and stuff. But it is, I mean, it is very like label driven.
I know, I'm not necessarily a fan. I mean, it's just so it's very mainstream. Which, then again, you know, like if it's good music, it's good music.
No, I mean, I was just listening earlier to Alicia Keys and those sort of things, and I'm like, where is, and you know, we had like in the 2010s and stuff, we had like some Adele moments, but like right now we're missing out. We have a lot of popular artists that have a lot of popularity.
That's true.
But we're missing right now sort of somebody who was trying to really go against the grain. Sure, we had like
do something really strong. Yeah, Billie Eilish, but Billie's moment's almost over.
But Billie Eilish was, if you really look into it, her brother had already industry ties when he was in his, you know, it was very like, they tried to sort of portray, and I love Billie Eilish, like don't take this wrong way, they tried to portray it as like a, you know, this overnight success, but they were label ties bedroom. And she was this was already like from the first EP out. Was like you know, on a major label.
I remember that first song came out and she was like, I produced it in my bedroom with my brother and I'm just a small town girl, whatever, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, you know, look at this girl coming from nowhere. You know, but I love the story, you know, I'm a sucker for the story. I think we have this TikTok effect of all these people who are not talented musicians. They put out like one song that blows up and then everyone's like, oh my god, but it happens so fast that like nobody is getting enough momentum to actually create like an album that's a rebellious, incredible piece of art. It has a great story. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I'm kind of waiting for that. I'm trying to think of somebody that's like really doing something like that right now, and I just can't. I'm just like, who have I even been listening to? You know what? There is this one band called Beauty School Dropout. And they are extremely grungy. And there was this guy, Mark Hoppus. Do you know Mark Hoppus? He's from Blink-182.
Yeah.
Okay, so he came and found these three kids, and they actually were like zero industry ties. Like I think they were just playing in a couple different bands. One of them was a photographer from Carlsbad, and he just like picked up a guitar. Yeah, and he put these three guys together, and he took their whole creative direction and everything, and like really nailed it. And like, one of their album covers with them like covered in fake blood. Like it was crazy. It was really insane. I went to one of their first album releases in LA, and the energy they had on stage was like, okay, these guys can do something. And since then they've been like taking off. They started a European tour. They did a couple US tours. I think they have an album coming out. I ran into the main singer at a party like last weekend, and he's like, we have an album coming out. They're working on right now. But they're fresh. They're really fresh. I'll show you some of their stuff later. Yeah. And they're really crushing it, but they just don't have like the viralness to them, you know, which honestly I don't think you need if for quality music, you know, like their music is good. They're doing great. They're touring Europe, you know, like they don't have to have 1 billion followers, but. And
it's also like the whole mainstream culture kind of subsided. We have all these like pockets now, and I seem to sometimes I just like niches. Find, oh, have you heard of this artist? And I look and they have like 1 million followers, and it's like, I've never even heard of so many niches, and the social media really kind of just dispersed. The
TikTok effect,
dispersed everything, where you can just pop into these little pockets where a couple artists are connected, and they built like this sort of collective or scene.
And then you have a bunch of fans that only listen to music in that scene, and they know just one person or something. And I'll come across someone on Spotify, and they'll have like 20 million monthly listeners.
Yeah,
and I've never heard any of their songs.
Never heard of him, or then
Well, that's crazy. You know, one band I did see at Outside Lands that I really liked was Cigarettes After Sex. Have you heard their stuff? They've been around for a minute.
The name,
yeah. They're like really depressing, slow pop. But I've listened to them for the first time, and then I went and looked at their Spotify, and they were like 300th in the world most listened to.
Yeah.
And I hadn't heard them before, and I was like, how am I missing out on this?
Okay, cigarettes after sex.
Yes.
Let's talk about your leather jacket for a second.
Oh, yeah.
You have multiple, right?
Yeah, I have 4, I think.
Did you just start buying? So
full story.
Scotty has. I also love collecting like leather jackets with like symbols and stuff on it, but you took it to the next level with a full slogan on the back.
Yeah.
So you have black leather jackets, and they have, what did I say on the back?
Says, sorry, no sex tonight. And actually, the truth be told, my ex-throuple partner wrote that on the back one night before we went out to a party in LA. Because I was like, I got to stand out in the crowd. I got to do something funny. Yeah. I'm not just going to roll up wearing a basic outfit. And I was like, I should write something on the back of my leather jacket. And so me and her sat down. And I think at the time I was in a throuple with her and her boyfriend of 4 years. And I was like, it was a crazy time in my life. But we're going to some crazy rave. We sat down. We made a list of things that we could write on the back. One of them was like, ejaculate responsibly or something. You know, it was a list of like funny stuff. Like local condom dealer, I think was one of them. And then we landed on that one. And she painted it in like 5 minutes.
It's so good.
Leather paint. Yeah.
It's like a brand. You should make it like a whole merch line.
The plan is to trademark it. Yeah. And I have 4 jackets right now and sold 2 or 3 of them, I think. Yeah. And they pop up on TikTok and on Instagram every once in a while on like reels of somebody, and they'll just pop up.
It's such a vibe.
It's a tease. It's like the ultimate. You know, it's like
it's a good slogan.
It's super fun. I love doing like one-off pieces, and that it influences my style in every way too. Like I never want to wear something that's like part of I don't know. Yeah. This shirt right here, for example, is Spliff Riff, and they are the punk band that helped us start our club in Laguna. It's a bunch of just local surfer guys who families have lived there forever. 3 guys, I think. And they play just like basically screamo hard rock metal. They're insane. But they'll just like come out of the surf, dry their hair, and hop on stage and just rip and like let loose.
There's a couple bands on there that just like they just kind of locals. They don't have records really. Yes. It's kind of, but it is like they're known in the community.
Yes. Yeah. That's these people. Oh, I'm gonna call.
Yeah.
I'm getting a FaceTime from one of my best friend's ex-fling. Should I pick up?
Pick it up. Okay, pick it up. We'll add.
Hey, Emmy Kate, you're live on the podcast here with Malte. We're streaming on Kick. Your gummy melted into one big thing. Have you ever done these little gummies before? These like edible...
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm well aware of what that is. So my friend Royce
bought her this. And it melted into one big gummy. That's crazy. Are you going to eat it all at one time now? I don't know if I'd recommend that. I was just about to take one. Welcome to the stream. You're live. Okay, you were just about to take one? He's coming over to my house right now. Who is? Roy. He's coming over to your house? Well, he just went on a date tonight. I know. I told him to. You told him to go on the date. I also told him to go on the date. You should not let him come over to your house. That's the I don't know, Malte, what do you think? We have to give context, right? So the context is she just broke up with this guy.
Yeah.
And he's coming over to her house against her will.
What do you think? And he has been on a date.
And he just went on a date tonight. That she told him to go on. I think she should pull the plug and say, don't come over. I told him not to come over, and then he was like, say hate me. And I said... No. Yeah, that sounds like classic gaslight manipulate, type vibes. I think you should be realistic with him and say, hey, I really don't think this would be healthy. And I don't want you to
tell him that if he wants to just have a coffee with him on say 11 a.m.
Yeah, tomorrow.
You know what I mean? Say, sure, we can grab a coffee if you want to talk. Yeah. That's fine. But
right now is not.
No. Like I would go if he has something like that he wants to talk about or whatever, just go grab a coffee. I think that's fair.
Yeah, it's totally fair. He gets mad, but does he have a right to even get mad? Because, you guys technically aren't dating, and... Yeah. Okay, well, then he doesn't have a right to get mad, and that would be an immature or a fault of his. That's no fault of yours. Definitely not a good idea. I think you know what you need to do. I think you just need to stand up for yourself a little bit more, and you need to, take the healthy high road here. I'm serious. You're supposed to say nothing and not respond.
Yeah, I mean the fact that he willingly went on this date.
I know, yeah.
No, but I mean, he might have some inner conflict.
I think there's maturing to do. Yeah.
Yeah, but I would go for the call. I would say, I would go for the coffee and say, hey, we can have 11 a.m., 11:30. That's a great time.
Great time. Give you plenty of time to sleep. Maybe even not tomorrow, maybe another day.
You know?
But say, hey, like I can't do it tonight. I'm not going to open the door. If he acts that far out of pocket, then that's like really immature, But I would draw all the lines you can. And if that means even ghosting him, like for momentarily, to let it cool down, I would recommend that too. So I think you know what you need to do, and I'm here to support you. And
I personally don't believe in ghosting. I believe in just having respect, like setting your boundaries.
Yeah.
Hey, say, you know
That's
what I mean?
true.
If
Set
you
it
have
clear.
anything important that you want to tell me, that's totally fine. Just, or like, hey, give me like 3 days. Like, why don't you text me on like Saturday afternoon or something? You know what I mean? Just set boundaries. Like, I don't think ghosting is good because it's sort of like
it's child's play. It's better just to be straight up and
and just be mature and say, hey, if there's something that we got to clear up, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
We can talk.
We just can't do it tonight.
On X date. Yeah, and then everybody can gather their thoughts and write down and have a closing conversation or open the conversation
he's
again.
acting out of emotion right now. If he's coming over right now, he's acting out of pure emotion.
Absolutely,
and that's not a healthy way to interact.
Here's the thing, though, is I was super, super honest with him last night, and I told him all of the things. And I told him we didn't even have a future together, and he still was like, I don't understand.
Well, then that's on him, right?
I don't understand. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So I don't know what I'm supposed to do, because at this point, I'm like totally stoked. I told him every single thing that I think. I told him that we're like not gonna end up together, and like these are the things that are like a problem. And he still is like, whatever. I don't think that's like a super big deal. Let's keep hanging out. So I'm like, if I've told you everything and you still want to keep hanging out, why?
I think he's acting delusional.
Yes, I know.
No, I mean, if you have it like clear in your mind, you say, hey, like I'm already processed this and I don't want to be with you.
Yeah.
Then
That's it.
that's it. Like then
No, it's not that I don't want to be with him, because I actually do.
Well, then I think,
can't wait.
yeah. Hold up.
Hold up, you just said that you thought it through and you
Yeah,
don't
you're
see
like,
a
it's
future
not
with
gonna-
him.
Yeah. And then you just went back and said,
Or no, that can be, your statement can be true. You just say
Yeah.
that like you more
You don't
see it
see a
as a
future.
short term sort of like thing.
yeah,
As short term.
Yeah.
I'm saying I want to be with him right now.
yeah.
I just don't think I want to be with him in like 5 years.
Sure, but then communicate that to him and then
Expectations.
expectations, and if he's okay with that,
Is he okay with that?
Yes, he literally, like, he is kind of delusional because he, like, just really actually doesn't care that I fucking said all of that stuff.
That you would break up with him in 5 years?
Yes.
I mean, that is like an issue with him that he maybe like is lacking his own self-respect. But for you, I mean, in the end, I believe in like you should do whatever like is in your best interest. I think if everybody does what is in their best interest and then they come together, just make that clear to him. And then if you want to see him, then go see him, right?
Yeah.
If you can be with somebody that has sort of like that's totally
these
fine.
Self-confidence issues, yeah. I think you really need to take time though and decide what is in your best interest first before jumping into an emotionally charged situation. So that's why I recommend.
Because I'm not super emotional. And so for me,
No, I know he is. Yeah, I'm not saying you are, but
yeah, like, for me, like, I'm totally chill. Like, I'm,
yeah,
because I'm just not really emotional.
yeah. Well, then maybe that's even something that you need to work on too, of like tapping back into your emotions.
I think that he's about to pull up right now.
Oh my gosh.
Alrighty, well.
Well, we can wish you luck at this point, and you can run this back because it'll be on YouTube tomorrow, and you can
Yeah, you can
listen
think
to our
about it.
advice
Stories,
again. Yeah.
stories from Laguna. It's a,
It's a mini subset podcast.
huh?
Can you expose him? Can we see?
No,
his
don't.
face?
We don't need to.
That's actually him. Oh my gosh.
We don't need any names. We want to
Yeah.
keep it anonymous.
Yeah, the guy with the. You want to see his face at least, so we can attach his face to a name.
I mean, it's fine. The
that's
viewers
true,
the
yeah.
viewers can't see anything.
That's true.
Scotty and I are best.
I wish we could like broadcast this onto like the screen next to us. That'd be great.
Real life right now. Like,
This is happening.
Next time
we're bringing you both on the podcast.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk. We'll hash it out. What's that jury court thing that?
Why don't
Judge Judy?
Judge Judy.
Yeah,
why don't you come? Why don't you come on the podcast?
You guys should come on the pod.
And then we'll talk about how it worked out. That could be like a.
That could be the next episode.
We do a relationship podcast.
We need one, honestly.
Yeah.
Because like you have a girlfriend, I have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have a girlfriend.
Yeah. Exactly.
But I think you should get a girlfriend instead of a boyfriend.
I know.
You can't not arrange me lesbian.
Yeah, that's true. You are.
Do I look to you like a raging lesbian?
No, no.
No, you don't.
No, you don't. Just like, okay.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
I think. Yeah,
I think you've already made your decision and you know exactly what you want to do.
Yep. So
and
do that.
just do that.
And we're gonna be here cheering you on. We're cheering on your best interest and your highest version of yourself. Oh man. Okay.
We will have to like Shelton, when Shelton comes up here, he can tell us about the outcome.
Shelton's great with relationships. He's been in a relationship for 3 years.
Yeah, Shelton is really great.
Like,
and they've lived in an RV together.
Yeah.
And they've been through
she's honestly like an amazing person. She's working for the agency, the real estate agency, like the biggest real estate company in the world.
Keller Williams, or what is it?
No, it's just called The Agency.
Yeah.
It was the one that did Selling Sunset, Selling OC, like all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that him? Do we have a face?
Let's see what chat says about this.
Let's see what that's.
Oh wait,
we have things. Wait, we have things.
Chat is asking, what are your guests' pronouns?
What are the guest pronouns? How do you identify yourself?
How do you identify?
This, that. Maybe like a... Do you identify as a she, her?
If I'm just a normal straight woman, what are my pronouns?
She, her.
She, her.
Yeah. She, her, hers.
Alright, that's
Oh, she identifies as a she. That's cool. Thank you, chat, for that question.
I'm about to get in a fight.
Is he there? Did he tell you to come over to his car? This is crazy. It's coming out live.
Coming out live.
Coming to you live from
Coming
Laguna.
to you live from Laguna. I love Laguna.
I know.
Laguna is a good
Should
time.
we go down there
And do a mobile podcast? No, you got to go to Yucca Valley.
What's it called? You know the Channel 5 thing where the guy comes? Yeah, that's pretty cool.
We got to go.
Colin, I will see you.
Hey, Royce, you're on the podcast.
No way.
He's on the podcast.
Yep, we're coming to you live from Los Angeles, California here. This is my friend Malte. Malte, this is Royce. Royce is an incredible pianist, musician of all types, and produces and mixes and masters everything. But
yeah, come up to the studio.
you should come up to the studio. We're in the studio.
We're not.
We're the best therapist you've never had.
This could be another. We could do a duo podcast with like a.
We bring in.
We're doing a mobile Laguna Beach.
We've been
podcast
helping. Yeah.
We gotta find a location, but we'll find it.
Yeah, maybe like a cove.
The Cove, yeah. Mobile. I'll get a generator.
Yeah.
We'll get that power.
In the Cove, yeah. That's incredible. Okay, well, you guys have a safe night and good luck, and set clear boundaries and stick to them.
Yeah.
All right.
See, that's where the leather jacket would have come in handy.
I know.
She turns around, he gets the message, but
and she leaves, and she walks away. And as she's walking away, he lets it sink in. Well, thanks for that little detour. I think that was a fun segue into relationships.
Okay. Yeah, relationships are
a thing.
Yeah, the older I get, like the relationships are like such an interesting. I mean, it's so multifaceted.
They really are. Like, oh man, I've realized that. I'm doing a long distance right now, and it's so interesting. But like, she works for this private airline company,
and they kind of shuttle around these like A-list celebrities. And so she'll be in LA for like a couple hours. And so I'll like drive up from Laguna to see her for a couple hours, and then she's gone on the next day. And a couple days ago, she was in Vegas, just like stuck there for 3 days, but like being paid just to like wait for the next person to need a flight, stuff like that. It's very interesting, but excuse me, it's been quite an interesting journey. Like, I don't know, interacting with like emotional stuff over the phone.
Over the phone, yeah. It's like I think that's like
you want to just say come over.
Yeah.
You know,
and most of the stuff gets like most of the stuff gets like lost over the phone.
It does,
and then you just like
it's difficult.
Have
you ever done a long distance relationship?
Or
been, I guess, had somebody like traveling.
Yes, and it didn't end well.
Yeah.
Because it was such it is difficult to keep up. I think the issue, for example, it's interesting because if you have relationships where you like basically live together, like a lot of times for me it just started to fizzle out.
Yeah.
Because they get so much communication and it fizzled out.
It's too much.
But yeah, and in the long distance relationship, it was never that you like you lost your sort of like attraction or spark for the partner. Yeah. But there was like then so much like
other stuff,
conflict and sort of like uncertainty about like the future and stuff that like like, and also like from the long distance relationships I had, like you never get any closure really.
That's true. Yeah, there's just like it's all left unsaid. I like a happy balance between the two. I don't want to live with my partner, but I also don't want them to be like 1,000 miles away.
Yeah.
I kind of want them to be like across town or like 20 minutes. You know? And it's like you have your space, I have mine.
Yeah.
I'm not running into you every morning when I walk in the kitchen kind of thing. Yeah. But like we can spend time in each other's places. Yeah. It also serves to provide independence. Like if you're doing your thing, I'm doing my thing, and we have space, we can work on those things. I love that. Honestly, I love that about my relationship right now. She's crushing her stuff. I'm doing mine. We can come together at times when we have time, and it's like, it's beautiful, you know? So I'm really loving that. No toxic like codependence and like all that stuff.
Yeah, that's how it should be.
Yeah. I'm excited. Do you see yourself ever getting married? Do you think you could get married? I don't think I will. I think if I find the right person, we'll just know, and we'll just decide to be together.
I well, married,
it's just a piece of paper, I guess.
Yeah, no, I can stand by that too. The thing is, so for tax purposes, eventually like, it will make sense, you know, to sort of do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, if you meet the right person, like you'll just know, you know.
Exactly. I think our computer says something about about time to restart or something.
It's like maybe like an update or something.
Yeah. Let's check on that.
So we don't lose.
There we go. Do we have any other questions to answer?
Let me check. Yeah. We've been kind of unattentive to chat.
I know. Yeah. Sorry about you. We love you. We love you out there.
Yeah, we love you.
My friends on Kick. How are you doing tonight? Throw me some hot, steamy questions.
What's your favorite animal?
Oh, there we go. Do you have a favorite animal?
Me? Yeah, it's probably like in the water, the dolphin.
For sure.
When I surf and you see the pod of dolphins.
It's gorgeous. It's incredible.
So connected. And then on land, I mean, pets are different, but like animal, probably lions, you know?
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think it's so interesting, the social structures they have and like,
They're
the
gorgeous.
way they live.
So pretty.
And it's like if you have cat, like I mean they kind of like the cat is derivative from the lion, so the house cat.
Yeah.
But you don't really see house cats ever like in this like social setting. But when you watch these like documentaries, you just see how like they live like in these social settings, and there's like the alpha lion, and then it gets taken or challenged.
Yeah.
And it's like
so much complexity.
Yeah, it's wild like how they go at each other.
Yeah.
And really just like, because you don't have that with other like sort of like dolphins. It's not like, oh, there's an alpha dolphin and then all the other dolphins attack the alpha dolphins and like now establish a new like, or you don't see that with like other sort of like, don't see it with like, what other animals on land do that?
I don't know. It's kind of a rare thing, at least as far as I know. I think it's that social structure, that like familial like energy is very interesting. It makes it really cool to watch. I mean, I was going to say dogs right off the top of my head. I just love dogs. But yeah, pets versus animals. There's like an interesting distinction there. Is it like something I'd have in my home or something I would like watch on TV? You know, if I was going to watch something on TV, there's this, I used to watch BBC Earth with David Attenborough. And he narrated this one scene where they went and found the snow leopard in like Nepal or something. And it was like the 1 of 10 left in the world, you know? And this guy waited in the snow and ice for like weeks to get one camera shot of it jumping, and he like got the shot. And I thought that was super cool. But snow leopards are so pretty, and they're just gorgeous. Again, a cat. No real social structure, but just like the aesthetic is just unreal.
No, I mean, like, animal photographers, those guys are, like, legends. The dedication app for, like, the little reward like, it's, like, an intrinsic reward for them to, like, capture that sort of stuff. It's not really by society, like, that well sort of, like, rewarded, I feel like. Because we're, like, generally, like, just so far removed from nature in a way, too. I mean, it's weird. Like, living in LA, living in a concrete jungle, it's like...
You don't see animals.
Yeah. Like, last year was up in Northern California in Aptos. We were, like, on a mountain with, like, no concrete, like, roads and stuff. And it was, like, for, like, 2 weeks, and it was pretty wild.
Where was this?
In Aptos.
I don't know what that is.
It's, like...
Where is it near?
Santa Cruz.
Oh, no way.
Right, yeah.
How was that?
It was amazing. I made lots of friends. No, they had like there's like this community with like yurts and like spiritual community. Yeah, it's great.
What?
And shout out to Montana. Shout out to Ashley. And they live out there in the middle of on top of the mountain.
Wow.
And in the crown of the mountain. So there's this forest, and then you're up there and just like listening to the nature at night, where there's like no, like, it's so untouched. Yeah, and you don't hear any cars or anything. So, but it's really, like, you can hear the animals, you can like see the tracks, and you can go into the forest. Yeah, and it's so thick too. It's like super thick and undeveloped.
That's how it should be.
That is such. Was such a like spiritual experience, because you really like realize, oh, this is where we come from, you know, being really in nature, and like you have all these instincts, and like you instinctively know what these sounds are, and it's kind of spooky, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. So
that's crazy.
Definitely want to
I want to spend more time in nature. Done a lot of hikes through Big Sur, like up the West Coast, taking road trips with my brothers. I've done some across the western US, like Utah, and you know, we hiked the Grand Canyon to the bottom and back in one day. Me and my 3 brothers, when I was like in high school. Almost died, but it was so much fun. Did stuff like that. But yeah, you
almost
get out there.
Died. What was? Well,
it was just the middle of summer, and it was like, it's 9 miles, but it's all switchbacks, and it's almost a vertical incline. And we were running it as we were just like reckless and young and just like having a blast. But it was really, really hot. We ran out of water, and but we did a bunch of hikes like that. Got on the middle of nowhere, got lost. For my birthday last year, we hiked the longest slot canyon in the world, which is in Arizona. It's near Antelope Canyon, and it's 46 miles of basically like 300-foot tall walls with like maybe like 4 feet in between them, and you're walking down this narrow slot canyon. And we did that we hiked like 26 miles the first day, camped, and then did the rest the next day. It started raining the next day, and we thought there was like a flash flood that was going to come through, so we started just hightailing out of there. But it was so fun. It was amazing. And yeah, you get in the middle of that slot canyon, there's nobody for miles and miles. But it just feels so nice to be away from everything. But yeah, what were we talking about? Animals. That's a great question. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let whole conversation.
Talk about let's light this incense.
Yeah.
And then we got incense. Perfect. Or incense. What is it?
Yeah.
And then let's talk about. So you're going to Yucca Valley tomorrow.
Yes.
What's going on?
Not tomorrow,
Valley?
Actually. So I think I'm gonna go out there on Friday.
Yeah.
It's kind of a whole story. Trying to think where the story starts. So Topanga, I love Topanga. I spent a lot of time in Topanga. I've had some interesting experiences.
Topanga is such a its own community. When you say Topanga, we already know,
it's an
like,
anomaly.
It's a weird, like,
so cool.
That has nothing to. Yep. It's like a weird world where like creatives live, and like there's
like no rules.
The people of Topanga, it's kind of like weird, and then
all these little farms and ranches, and
it feels very like.
Have you spent time there? Tell me about your time there.
Yeah, I've been on a couple, like, we have a friend that is from Sweden, and he has like this resort and retreat center there.
No way.
And so we've done a bunch of like workshops there.
That's
and
sick.
Then like been to like his friends and like gotten invited for dinner there, and like there's like lots of creatives and like people that just settled there, and it's like unlike anything else. It's not like Malibu, it's not like Santa Monica, it's like its own.
It's been compared to Old Laguna. Like kind of what Laguna used to be. This very like hippie kind of just like everyone has their own little plot of land and they are in the forest and up in the mountains and in the creeks and everything. And like I've stayed on a couple Airbnbs and different properties. I've stayed in a hollowed out water tower one time. I stayed on this like ranch. We did the spiritual like cacao ceremony with my throuple partners. That was super cool. Anyways, I went into the shampoo shop like a couple weeks ago, and I met this woman who was running the shop, and she was just like in her 40s but being really flirty and fun and cute. And I was like, hey, what's up? And then right off the bat, she's like, I'm throwing a festival in the Yucca Valley on this piece of land that I own, and you should come. And I was like, well, I've been learning how to DJ. Would you mind if I try? And she's like, sure. And so the rest is history. And she has like 12 other musicians performing. Another one from Laguna. And then another really kind of a bigger DJ named Henry Pope, who's like really cool. But yeah, I'm excited. So I'm going out there probably on like Friday. I think the festival is technically like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But I'm probably going to go out there Friday and camp and then just like kind of make it happen there. I'm bringing a tent and sleeping bag, the whole 9 yards, and going to see some stars. I mean, it's right next to Joshua Tree, and I love Joshua Tree. I used to go out there all the time with my family and just watch shooting stars and like even go out there for like one night. But yeah, so that's what's happening this weekend. And I'm stoked. This will be my first time on the main stage. I've done like little bar parties and stuff, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Man, how many people are going to be there? It's like a bigger
I mean, I'm guessing a couple hundred. That's like off the top of my head what I'm thinking. But like people will probably like show up and leave, you know, during the time, like, or come for the person they're seeing, and I don't know. Yeah.
Is it just like DJs also live music and stuff like that?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like
we've got all sorts of stuff. There's like live music, there's produced, there's like sound baths and like some meditation, guided yoga sessions, like the whole 9 yards. It's an art and music festival. So, but I'm stoked. I'm really stoked. I love how they're incorporating a bunch of other stuff instead of it's just DJs, you know? Yeah. So they're bringing some other stuff to the table. But yeah, I went to this crazy event in LA. This brings up something a couple weekends ago, and there's this place called Future Factory, and all the walls are screens, and you go in there and it's like room for like 400 people. It's just this big long building. It's like a warehouse kind of, and all the walls are screens, and this guy sits down with like just like just what looked like just a bunch of knobs, basically plugs in his computer and just starts playing frequencies and then twisting them and turning them and just mutating them, and he was coding all of the screens to sync up to the way he was mutating the frequencies. It was really sick. Wow. Yeah, his name's Benjamin Garden or something like that. And it was a little like kind of eerie vibes, like on a spiritual level. It kind of got to my head a little bit. I left after like 15 minutes because like this is pretty intense. But it was so cool. It was one of the coolest performances I've seen ever. And he's sitting there like in this dark hood, like turning all these knobs and doing all this stuff. And then all the screens are like pulsating with these like weird designs synced up to what he's doing. I thought that was really, really cool. I'd love to see more of that kind of stuff, you know? Because it wasn't DJing.
Sounds really cool.
It wasn't like producing. It wasn't live. I mean, it was live, but yeah. Anyways.
Chad is saying incest. No, incense. Incense, guys.
Not incest.
Yeah, let's talk about I just recently cut off all my hair.
You're good. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because whenever I have long hair, I really like get excited, but I really like have no routine, don't know what conditioner to use, and it gets like completely bad.
So tough.
But you have it going on. So what is the secret?
What is the secret?
So is it like
For me,
you wash it and then you put
nothing. I mean, I wash it and I do a little conditioner, and I usually use like jojoba oil, I think that's what it's called, or jojoba oil.
So oil, yeah.
That's the thing you can find at Whole Foods.
So you put the oil in there.
Throw the oil in afterwards, and then I'll do like an ocean dip, and like you get the salt water, you get a little bit of oil.
Probably the ocean dip. That's what I'm missing.
And it all just like connects.
So I can't have long hair until I live by the ocean. No, I think the water up here is too hard.
I go in the water almost every day, and it like
no, but the shower water here is like
it is.
Do you call it hard water or what is it? If it's it's like.
I'm gonna use the restroom.
Yeah, use the restroom. I'm gonna set up for. We're gonna have. We're gonna do like Scotty's gonna run a set, but we also gotta close out with.
Oh yes.
Mario.
Okay, cool. Which I'm really.
So let me set that up, guys. No, it's right here. It's right there. Let's set up for the Mario here. Oh, it's a very strong smell. And now, I'm actually getting excited about having long hair again. I need that long hair again. Setup for no, yeah, it's like weird. Like I cut my hair and then like I'm like, oh, immediately I want to have long hair again.
Yeah.
When was the last time you had short hair?
It's been a long time. I'd say a year and a half, if
Yeah.
not longer.
I just like you have it. I have long hair.
My brother.
And it just goes bad.
So Royce, the guy that you just met,
Yeah.
he used to have hair to here, just like mine. He cut it, and now he really regrets it. And so that happened like a week ago.
But it takes. I mean, for me, it takes a year to like get to like a shoulder length
That
again.
happened a week ago, and seeing him like really regret that and wish it was longer again made me not want to cut mine. Because for a second, I thought I might want to.
Yeah.
And then he went to that, and I was like, you know what, I'm good.
Okay, guys, we're almost ready.
I think also I might plug in my phone. That's cool.
Yeah, we got a charger in the studio. Well, let's wrap it first. You want to wrap it first?
Is this how you wrap every episode?
We got like
sick.
it's a little
Closing ceremony.
the closing. Yeah, it's the closing ceremony. Oh, okay. Might have to adjust a little bit.
Thanks.
Alrighty. Time for the grand finale. We have.
I get my world rocked.
We're having
Check.
the check. We're having I actually have a capture card coming in the mail.
way.
Right. Then we're gonna have this like
That
actually
would be
being
crazy.
fed. Like yeah.
That'll be so sick. This is ancient techno. This is
The,
medieval technology right here.
yeah, but for now we're gonna.
Oh my god. No way.
Yeah, we're gonna bring a little bit of Mario Kart action. Let's do 100. Oh wait, no, we gotta go back.
Okay.
We need a 2-player.
There we go. 100 cc.
I kind of like the 100. It's like a mid. It's not too fast, not too slow.
Cool. Which one am I? Red. Okay.
Yeah, you can use the stick. Use the stick.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah.
Cool. There we go. Oh my gosh. Wow.
I'm gonna go with. I think I'm gonna go with this guy here. I've never actually used
There we
this
go.
guy.
Sweet. Another classic.
Let's do let's do this one.
Okay, here we go.
It's all Japanese.
Oh my gosh, that's so sick.
Yeah, it's like it's just
How do you go?
A. Press A, the blue button.
Yep.
So press the blue button to go, and just the stick. Use the. Oh, I'm actually. Wow. Oh, I started. Use the stick, and then when you use these guys, you can actually hop, and then under, like you gotta find the under here.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's where you use your power up.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So yeah.
Oh damn. Okay, yeah. I think I'm starting to catch the drift of things. Oh man. Oh gosh. Oh man. A little drifting going on here.
Let's do some rapid fire questions.
Yeah, exactly, right? What's your favorite?
Lobster or oysters?
Oh, lobster all day. So there's this lobster
Yes.
mac and cheese at Beauty in Essex in LA, actually, that is the best lobster mac and cheese I've ever had. It's almost the best mac and cheese I've ever had, period. But it's so good. Lobster all day. And you can get lobster fresh right at Moss Point where I go. You can dive down and capture it. And that's one of my goals is I need to go. Oh no.
What is your favorite part, the tail or the claws?
I'm gonna say tail for sure.
For me, I don't know. I have like this. I love lobster rolls, so I just actually love the claws better. There's something about these claws, especially when they come out perfectly out of the shell and they still look like the. And then I don't know. I'm like fascinated by the claws.
Yeah.
But I get it. Like technically,
it's like the crab. Like I love crab, and I will go crazy for the claws.
it's like a really good place in Huntington Beach that specializes in the big king crab.
I would love to go. That sounds incredible.
Just
I haven't had I would Google it, but I haven't had big king in such a long time. The last time I had it was in Florida, actually. I was on vacation with my family.
king crab.
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty good. I think
like lobster, I can do cold. I feel like the crab needs to be warm.
What's your favorite salad to make?
Huh?
What's your favorite salad to make? Like, what are the top 3 ingredients you want to put in a good salad?
In a salad, I will put balsamic dressing.
Okay.
I will put like the German way is like honestly like tomatoes, radish, like green leaves, like a little bit of radish to put in there.
Yep.
Salad can also be really good with like I mean it's also like these like you can do like a balsamic and then cut a little like peaches in there. We're gonna go again. This is like
destroyed.
Just press A.
Okay. Salmon and peaches in your salad? That sounds incredible.
Not salmon, but like peaches.
Okay. I love making
little fruit like or apple, like you know what I mean, like when you have a kale salad, but then you have a little bit of
my favorite thing in
apple,
salads,
you know.
Yeah, recently has been to combine like fruit and meat.
Goat cheese, apple, and like kale and walnuts in there.
Yes,
you know?
For sure.
Could even do that now.
That sounds incredible. That sounds.
I'm just missing the goat cheese.
Yeah.
But
I've been loving cheeses. I've been also working a lot on the pasta side of things, and doing like this like a roasted veggies. You just grab a bunch of like farmers market vegetables and like saute them. Throw it in with some classic noodles. So when can you use your powers again?
You press under the.
Like when you're close to somebody?
Yeah, it's the big one under the.
Gotcha.
You can turn that down a little bit.
Yeah.
It's the big one under the. You know the under.
The big thing underneath. Yeah.
Underneath, yeah. I don't know what do you call that one. Oh, now I'm like.
Let's go.
I'm struggling.
It's time. It's
my
time
I'm
to come back.
It's your day. It's
Come on, baby. I'm pretty sure I'm locked into 4th though. This looks pretty.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. You mentioned that you didn't have video games growing
I wasn't allowed to. Oh no. Point in case right here.
That is kind of like the pull off. I was addicted to like FPS in my, and I feel like I could have been a much better musician if I didn't have this.
That's
like.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I just played so many video games. It was like really not good.
Oh my gosh.
But
no way. FPS was what, the
first-person shooter?
No way. So
and, but it wasn't my parents. My parents were actually trying to regulate me. But what I did at night, like when I was like 16, 17, I would turn the router back on. My dad like had a key, and he turned off the router, you know, the modem to like the internet. But I knew in the basement there was another door that for some reason had the same key as his office, and it worked. So I would go into the basement, open the key, turn the router back on, and then play till like 4 or 5 a.m. Go to school at 8, and I would when I came back in the afternoons, my parents was like, "Oh, he must have some kind of like body immune disorder or something. He's sleeping." Like sent me to all these doctors. Like they were always like, "Oh, he's sleeping like during the day." You were like, and I was just up till like 6 a.m. You know, gaming.
Oh, that's hilarious.
The things you do when you're young,
I know, right?
and wild. You know, I mean,
I was like sneaking onto water towers and stuff.
It was definitely not like.
Yeah. That's funny though. They thought you had an immune disorder.
They were like, "Oh, there's something wrong with this boy," and I was like, "No, there's nothing." I was just like,
I did end up getting to Fortnite over the pandemic.
No, really?
Do you play Fortnite?
Yeah, I've played Fortnite before. I'm like, like my forte is more like the Counter-Strike, but Fortnite is a shoot. I mean, it's interesting because it has this sort of building aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, I play sometimes without the building aspect, but.
And I kind of just let me see. There's a shortcut here. We can check this out. There's let me see if I can hit it. I haven't hit the shortcut. No, I'm not gonna hit the shortcut. Hitting the shortcuts hard.
I think you have to hit one of those ramps or something. Oh, I'm in the one.
Yeah, you gotta hit the ramp.
I'm definitely not.
Let me see if I can.
Yes.
Oh my god, I'm not hitting it. I mean, with Mario Kart, there's no real skill involved. It's kind of like very random. It's like the algorithm, like sometimes.
Really?
You know,
throws you around. Or whatever?
Yeah, it's just like you could be last and then make it to because somebody gets like a crazy power up. That's why I like. It's kind of like this perfect thing here.
You just don't know what's going on.
People that have never played it before, you can kind of just you get the hang of it. It's pretty straightforward.
That's crazy. This reminds me of Wreck-It Ralph. Have you seen the movie? Wreck-It Ralph. It's like
I don't think so.
It's based on like characters from video games like this, but they all become real life, right?
Oh my god! This is the first time I ever make the shortcut, and now I'm going the wrong way.
No way! You did it.
Yeah, wicked
incredible.
well.
Was it like a glitch or was it just an actual shortcut?
No, it's an actual shortcut. Like
that's crazy. Because I know some of these games have like glitches and stuff too. Oh man, that's wild. Did you catch some?
Yeah, you can. Some of these you can exploit these glitches.
There you go. Yeah, I've seen some stuff like that, and like.
But tell me about that. What is it? A movie? What is it called?
Yeah,
Wicked
Ralph. It's about like these characters come to life. Like there's all these like games that are and what's it called? Where you go and play a bunch of games that are like at a bar or something. I don't know, but all the characters come to life, and it's like super cool. And they try to keep this one character alive. And then there's this other movie that came out recently about the founding of Tetris, and it dives into like American Russian politics because
wait yes no it is like Tetris or something
good.
Was like made by a Russian, right?
It was and then they stole it from him and they didn't give him any royalties and oh my god, I got hit by something.
I've read that the other day. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was really crazy. The movie is really good though. It is really, really good. It has some really great actors too, but the guy that like invented it, there's two guys, I think. One was Russian, one was American or something, and now he like lives somewhere in California.
See if there's one more. Click
with
A.
His family.
There might be like one final one. Let's see. Maybe that was.
I think I'm bogged down.
Oh, you gotta still make it to the.
Yeah. I wonder who developed this soundtrack, because it's like been listened to by millions of people. We need the house version remix of the Mario Kart soundtrack.
It's true.
There we go.
But there's we gotta find the one little track that is.
What is the original?
Let's see which one. Probably this probably something with this. You could this is iconic, like the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like it's better to do the Mario, like actually from the Mario game.
Yeah.
You know, like what is that? You know that famous jingle when you like.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
Like I think those are a little bit more. Oops.
Oh man. I'm all over the place. This is like the Wild West right here. This is where I grew up. On a big ranch.
Yeah, how was it like
was
growing
wild
up in
stuff.
Texas?
It was a 1,000-acre hunting ranch.
Yeah.
And they would bring in animals from like Africa, like zebra and ibex and things like that. And
No
it was like,
way.
People could come and pay 20 grand and shoot them and have them taxidermied on site, stuffed, and then they'd take them home, put them on the walls, stuff like that. It was just wild west.
That was like a part of the business that you were like.
Yeah, so they used some of that funding then to like fund the church, like the cult that we were in. It was wild. The guy that was the funding for the whole thing, he was on the like Forbes list because he like invented the hospital bed, and then he would use his money to lobby politics, right? So he this is the real crazy shit. He was the biggest donor in like George Bush's presidency.
Wow.
Oh, train wrecked.
So you're definitely happy that like you somehow found a way.
Yeah, I mean it was my mom that really got us out.
Yeah.
She basically moved us all out of it and sent us to public school and got us get involved in the real world. But yeah, it was definitely a culture shock when I went to school for the first time. I was like, I didn't even know there was other things outside of this. Hello?
Hello, hello. What's up? My beautiful girlfriend has just... Beautiful and talented girlfriend has just arrived.
Chat, am I even real? Oh man, it takes some getting used to these controls. I'm just like, the last time I played any sort of game was Fortnite like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I gotta get into like
the Fortnite vibe.
When you play it on the console or you play it on the PC?
On the console.
Yeah.
I guess that's what all the kids are into these
like
days.
Playing playing a shooter with the sticks, it's just very hard. I think with the mouse, and you probably get like wrecked by the people that have them. You can just tell like they're like
they're just crushing it all.
Yeah, with the sticks, with the controller, it's rather.
Yeah.
There's actually a hack that people do that play on a PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
You can with a USB you can control, say like you're staying on platform. I used to do that with Call of Duty actually, and you get a little bit of an advantage, right? Because you play a lot of people that have controls, but I plugged in my PlayStation 4 into a display with mouse and keyboard, so I have this crazy advantage. And I said like don't cross collaterate, right? So it's only on the PlayStation 4 platform. So you play against both, and you would just like be really good. I was like,
people,
yeah, that's I mean,
that's hilarious.
But now I'm back in the.
No, back to regular.
Counter-Strike 2 is coming out tomorrow, guys. CS2.
Let's go get him.
I mean, I don't know. It's like such a long journey. I started playing.
Is Counter-Strike where it's at? I don't know much about
No, Counter-Strike is just like an old... It's kind of like chess. It hasn't changed. It's like a game that doesn't...
Yeah.
There's a sport culture on it because it doesn't change.
Okay, gotcha.
Right? So it's like... It's been the same. The graphics have been updated, but it's like... And they have like literally
concept,
like a million people like watching for like a grand final, you know, like this world championships and stuff.
Wow.
And like there's a whole esports culture where people make like
I've seen some of that stuff.
Make like in huge arenas and stuff, and they make like it's like literally like any other sport.
I was studying about this one game because I looked up like what's the biggest game in the world. Like it's an online game, and it has some name, but it's like huge. I can't remember what it's called, but I was researching.
League of Legends or
no, it's like it like the space inside the game is like enormous, and people have been
World of
working
Warcraft.
on it. No, I think it's bigger than that. Yeah. It's some weird name, but like it has a bunch of players and stuff and has its own culture and monetary system and Bitcoin and everything. It's crazy. Also, I heard the other day that NFTs are now finally worthless.
Yeah,
they finally died. Yeah, it took long enough.
That is... Well, we'll have another chat about NFTs.
Yeah. Back next time.
My gosh.
I think we need a follow-up episode with Royce and Emmy Kate.
We gotta we gotta have them. I have a couple more chairs. Or we do a mobile setup in Laguna. Yes, and we'll talk about all of that. I think that's a great idea. Wow, now we have this the stand. See, that's why I don't like the stands because it ends up like this. It ends
crazy.
up.
I just want to hold it.
Completely crazy.
Right,
but we needed the stance in order to have that grip on the controller for Mario Kart. Well,
thank you.
This was another Burning the Midnight Oil edition. It was a pleasure, but we're not quite done yet. We're gonna get the decks ready, we're gonna run Scotty's set.
We're gonna try.
So stay tuned. We're gonna be up in a couple minutes again.
Yeah.
Pleasure. Let's pound it. Let's shake it.
Actually, so much. This was super fun. I haven't done this in a while.
Thank you for coming. I mean, this was like we learned so many different things, and I learned that I need to have long hair again.
And
all I gotta do is get in the water and don't use the hot water.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Next up, we're gonna have. I'm actually not gonna reveal the next guest, but we're gonna have one more guest
tonight.
No, not tonight. Not tonight, but very shortly.
Yeah.
But thanks for the love you guys have been showing on YouTube, on Kick. Kick has been so good to me because it's not as saturated as Twitch, and it just has been so much fun streaming on Kick. Let's give a last shout out here to Chat. Chat, do you have any last questions? If not, we're gonna sign out. Whatever, Chad. I'll see you guys. See you guys tomorrow, and on the stream here in just a few minutes. Over and out.
Peace and love.
Next time with Royce and
Kate. Yeah.
And Kate.